Hey everybody, I'm Dan Joseph with MRC-TV. It is September 11th, 2013, and we are here on the National Mall where some Muslims are holding what they call the Million Muslim March Against Fear. Now, as you can see, it's not quite a million Muslims, it's more like 5 or 6. But despite that, we wanted to find out why they came here and why they chose 9/11 to do it. Why did you specifically choose 9/11 to have this rally?
Well, 9/11 is the day that, basically they've utilized the tactic of fear to begin the systematic change. They brought about the Patriot Act, and then from there it brought the NDAA, and then of course we have the drones, which the FBI and local police departments are using in order to, observe us, and then of course we have the NSA and all of its gathering of intel on every single American.
I believe that for the last 12 years we have spoken about how we Muslims are against all action of terrorism around the world, no matter what it is, no matter what group. But somehow we never heard, and the media never tried to cover or report us saying that.
The building had no reason to fall, and yet news organizations and firemen and police knew in advance it was going to collapse.
Seriously, who did 9/11? Was it Muslim extremists who perpetrated 9/11?
Well, there were 5 people arrested on that day of 9/11, and they were from Israel.
You don't believe that Muslims perpetrated the acts of 9/11, is that right?
Well, it's hard to say because the evidence is lacking.
And we all know that what the corporate media does. They take the apple and they make orange juice. They take the orange, make apple juice. Indeed, they take apple and orange and they create and produce banana juices.
There seem to be a lot of elements of the 9/11 truth movement here. Do you believe personally that it was Muslims who attacked us on 9/11?
That's a good question. I think
but not a hard question.
I think it's, from what I see, I think that certainly when Bin Laden said he did it and had connections, then that provides some evidence. But I'm also open to conversation.
Open to other.
Absolutely.
Who else do you think would have had an incentive to do something like that?
I just don't know.
Do you believe that Muslims perpetrated 9/11?
I think the most important thing is to ask questions, and every citizen needs to ask their own questions and discover their own truth, and that's why we're here.
So you don't believe that?
Personally, I do not.
There are a lot of 9/11 truth stuff here. Do you guys think the Muslims attacked us on 9/11?
I don't believe Muslims had anything to do with it other than the patsy part.
Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to jump in. See, I have no fear. I'm here by myself. I was hoping there'd be 1 million Muslims here. Because if
how many short do you think they are of 1 million?
I'd say about 999,000.
Do you believe that Muslims attacked us on 9/11?
No, they weren't Muslims.
They weren't Muslims?
No, Muslims don't snort cocaine, they don't sell cocaine, they don't drink alcohol.
You do believe that Muslims were the perpetrators of 9/11, right? The attacks.
I believe in 9/11 there is criminals.
But not Muslims.
If I believe, according to my faith, who's not following the Islamic faith, practicing the Islamic religion, going off what God's command us, it takes you out of the Islamic religion.
So is it possible that aliens had anything to do with 9/11?
Are you talking about aliens from outer space or aliens from...
Space aliens.
I believe that there were patsies involved, and that they were of Muslim religion.
Right.
But I don't believe that they flew the planes into the building.
Okay, what's your gut feeling about who did that?
It's hard to say. I'm still doing my research.
You don't know? That's a good question. I just don't know, but I know. I think Bin Laden had something to do with it.
Something to do with
it.
He
Lord,
okay. Did you guys, before you got here? You gonna do that when you get back?
We don't take drugs.
No drugs?
No drugs.
Okay. Do you guys think Muslims were behind 9/11, the 9/11 attacks?
No.
You don't? Who do you think was behind it?
Wasn't Muslims.
Wasn't Muslims? The Jews maybe?
No.
Bush administration? Perhaps. You don't think Muslims were behind 9/11 either?
I mean, it might have been somebody. There's always going to be some cohorts involved with sellouts. I think it was just a random few.
This was initially called the Million Muslim March. We're correct?
Long time ago, but it was changed back in February.
Why? It doesn't look like there's really anybody here. Why do you think the turnout has been so low?
Well, because there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear between the federal government and between the police, and a lot of the spin that's come out. There's a lot of fear.
So you think people are afraid to come?
Yeah, absolutely.
But you came.
Oh, absolutely.
He wasn't scared of this. Just a bunch of random people. All right. What about you? Do you think that you think Muslims were behind the 9/11 attacks?
No.
No, you don't. Who do you think was behind the 9/11 attacks?
Our government?
The Bush administration.
Yes.
Well, what should we call them?
I mean, you call them an individual person who chose to do that. Because they profess out their mouth that they're this religion or that religion doesn't mean that that's what they are.